Hi everyone, Katja here. Welcome to the first episode of Page Turner Weekly, where I bring you my recent weekly reads, some translated, some not, updates on my reading projects, and news on translated fiction prizes and new releases. This week we're diving into the International Booker Longlist. Yes, the one I did a chaotic live reaction to yesterday, so I'll keep it brief today. We're also looking at the Great Britain Sasakawa Foundation Translation Prize, checking in on the Reading the Globe project, and highlighting some standout videos from fellow booktubers. Plus, I've got many reviews for a few recent reads, including one that floored me in a very unique way. But first, on a personal note, just a shout out to Charlie Brooke Reads. If you haven't already seen her announcement, Charlie's got 4 bookmarks out in her new Etsy shop, with all profits going to the Book Trust. I just ordered my set of 4, but keep in mind you can also buy them individually. Also, big thank you to the lovely Ali, avid reader, who sent me this copy of Brightly Shining. Ali, I am so glad you used bubble wrap or bubble envelope, because Milo attacked it today. And he's got missing teeth because he's part Chinese crested, but he managed to sink his upper canines in. And he's on the move. Let me let him out. I think he can tell that I'm gossiping about him, but basically he managed to put a huge hole in the bubble envelope, but it's unscathed, so this has arrived. Thank you so much for sending this. Now, if you didn't know, Brightly Shining is a book I wrongly guessed would be in the International Booker Longlist lineup, so Ali offered to send it through to me to have a read. Thanks so much. International Booker Longlist reveal. If you caught my live reaction, you know I was surprised by all of the choices, not just because of the 2 that I managed to get right, but also because of how fast the reveal went. It was like a blink and you'll miss it moment. Thankfully I had it on loop, and then later I pulled together the key details in the comment section of the video. So the most obvious takeaway was that our 2 Nobel Prize winners, Han Kang and Olga Tokarczuk, were missing. That was unexpected, but what stood out was the diversity of the languages represented. 3 French, 2 Japanese, then we got Arabic, Danish, Romanian, Spanish, German, Italian and Kannada, 1 book each, and most of the books under 200 pages, with only Solenoid over 300 pages with a hefty 627 pages. We had mostly women authors and mostly small presses like Lolly Editions and Other Stories and Tilted Access. So some notable indie publishers, however, were absent, like Charco Press and Europa Editions. All in all, this long list is unconventional, but the beauty of it is it introduces us to fresh voices, and in fact 13 writers, all of them are first-time nominees. So exciting that I couldn't restrain myself from diving into one of the shortest ones. And get ready for a mini review of Reservoir Bitches, which you can skip if you don't want to see that yet. You can go to the next topic. But have you ever finished a book and thought, wow, that was brutal? I get why it went so far, but very brutal. That is Reservoir Bitches, a collection of linked stories about Mexican women navigating violence, poverty, and survival, written with a darkly cynical humor that somehow makes it all the more devastating. De la Cerda doesn't do soft landings. These stories are sharp, unflinching, sometimes grotesque, but never gratuitous. And I wondered about that after the first story. I was like, this is really just ick for being ick's sake. But the rationale becomes obvious by the time you get to the end. She writes about cartel princesses, trans women fighting for survival, girls trapped in cycles of violence, messy, angry, defiant characters refusing to go quietly. The translation by Julia Sanchez and Heather Cleary really makes that gut punch immediacy come across. Not every story lands with the same force, but the last piece definitely brings everything together in an inevitable and horrifying way. Femicide, machismo, economic disparity, none of these themes are new, but De la Cerda makes sure you feel them without the comfort of distance or abstraction. And yet weirdly, here and there's a bit of humor, a razor-edge defiance that keeps the book from feeling like pure bleakness. If you like fiction that cuts close to the bone, if you appreciate narratives that reject easy moralizing, then Reservoir Bitches delivers. That said, I don't know if it's shortlist material for me. Let me know if you've read it and what you thought. Did it leave you stunned too? Then, the Kindle lock-in and why it matters. Recently, booktuber Criminolly posted a video about Amazon's latest move, removing the ability to download your purchased Kindle books onto your computer, and the cutoff day is today. Amazon prevents Kindle users from independently backing up their books. Everything is now locked within Amazon's ecosystem. So why is that a big deal? The reasons are books can disappear. Amazon has removed books from users' devices in the past, often due to copyright disputes. Books can be altered. Some publishers have made stealth edits to ebooks, meaning the version you bought might not be the version you keep or you currently have. You're locked in. If you ever want to leave Kindle, or if Amazon shuts down your account for whatever reason, you lose the books. This is a part of a broader shift in digital media where buying now seems to mean renting access. We see it with streaming services. Now we're seeing it with books. So let me know what you think, and definitely if you caught Criminolly's original video, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Then we have the Great Britain Sasakawa Foundation Translation Prize. What a mouthful. Last month I introduced you to this relatively new prize celebrating Japanese to English translations. And guess what? The book that I was most drawn to, that I told you about, well, I told you about 6 books, but the one I was most drawn to, The Kobe Hotel Memoirs by Saito Sanki, won. So Sanki, a key figure in the new rising haiku movement, wrote this memoir after being silenced by Japan's Special Higher Police in 1942, and this book captures life in a rundown Kobe hotel filled with Russians, Egyptians, Tatars, Koreans, and Japanese residents scraping by during wartime. It also vividly depicts Kobe's destruction in the 1945 firebombing, and I am reading it this weekend and will report back soon. Then we have Reading the Globe Project. We wrapped up clean in January and had a fantastic discussion on Roz's channel at the start of this month. Now we're wrapping up Beyond the Door of No Return by David Diop, translated by Sam Taylor. If you read this with us or have previously read it, I hope you can join us for the live show on March 2nd at 7 p.m. GMT. For the YA strand, we're reading currently still The Forgotten Book by Mechthild Glazer, with a live show on April 12th at 7 p.m. GMT on Jack's channel, Spread Book Joy. And for the classic strand, Season of Migration to the North is next. It's starting on the 1st of March, so we're reading this from the 1st of March to April 30th. Looking forward to diving into this one with you all. And now for some of my recent reads, we're looking at Mina's Matchbox, The Memory Police, The Rainfall Market, The Hotel Avocado, and The Door-to-Door Bookstore. So Mina's Matchbox, the newest English translation of Ogawa's work, and honestly one of her most charming. This coming-of-age novel is set in the 1970s and in Japan, and follows a young girl sent to live with her glamorous German-Japanese relatives. And Mina's world is shaped by matchboxes, foreign books, and a pet pygmy hippo. Yes, really. Told from the perspective of her cousin Tomoko, it captures childhood's small formative moments, like realizing that Mina's whimsical world is also touched by hardship. She has severe asthma, frequent hospital visits, and parents with their own quirks and secrets. The novel is gentle and whimsical, but the way larger, more complex events unfold in the background really keeps it grounded in reality, and it's that balance that makes it work so well. I think if you enjoyed The Housekeeper and The Professor, this is a great pick. And I know everyone loves the cover with the little pygmy hippo on it. I only just noticed as I was starting to talk to you that the cover also has a Matchbox vibe to it. If you prefer Ogawa's darker works like Hotel Iris, The Diving Pool, or Revenge, then this next one is right up your alley. The Memory Police. Ogawa has this rare ability to shift from slice of life to something eerier, and this book delivers that quietly, powerfully. While not as unsettling as Hotel Iris, it leans into dystopian themes in a way that's almost plausible. On an unnamed island, objects start disappearing. First small things like ribbons, bells, flowers, then larger things like books and the fairy of the island. I'm saying that flowers are small, but that's a big thing. But anyway, these things start disappearing, and memory police ensure no one remembers what's lost. And this novel explores loss, authoritarian control, and the fragility of memory itself. It's hypnotic, melancholic, and eerily relevant in a time when remembering past events clearly feels more urgent than ever. I listened to the audiobook, and Tracy Kato Kiriyama's narration, which was really understated, actually added to the book's haunting atmosphere, in that you kind of think the narrator needs to get some sense of urgency about her situation and just doesn't seem to get that. And it kind of mirrors, I think, sometimes how we are inactive while things are happening around us. Off we go to the Rainfall Market. What if you could walk into a magical market and pick a brand new life? That's the premise of the Rainfall Market by Yu Yon Guang, translated by Slin Jong. But does it deliver? Seren, a lonely teen, gets a golden ticket to the Rainfall Market, a magical place that appears only once a year. I expected Charlie and the Chocolate Factory vibes, but the similarity ends there with the golden ticket. She has 1 week, one chance to find a different life, guided by Isha, a snarky, magical cat. So the atmosphere is stunning. Think bottled wishes, stormlit streets, eerie shops. The cat character is on point. Themes of self-worth and choice really hit home. But the execution is a little off. The writing feels simplistic, and not just in the prose, but how the ideas are actually explored. It is also marketed as adult magical realism, but really reads as young adult, and quite a young adult. If I'd known that going in, I would have seen it as a fun escape. Instead, I kind of left feeling I'd picked up the wrong book. Then we have the Hotel Avocado, totally different vibe. Bob Mortimer's book is exactly what you'd expect from him. Quirky, surreal, and full of oddball humor that makes you laugh, even as you wonder, what on earth? As the second book in the Gary Thorne series, Gary Thorne series, it follows our hapless protagonist as he faces the crossroads in his life. Does he stay in London or go off to Brighton to be with his girlfriend, who is opening the Avocado Hotel? Throw in shady characters, mysterious threats, and a cloud of vape smoke courtesy of his neighbour, and you've got a classic Mortimer setup. Charmingly absurd and surprisingly suspenseful. So if you enjoyed the first book, The Satsuma Complex, I think you'll enjoy this, though perhaps the plot isn't as complex. The humour is still razor sharp, and there are a lot of ridiculous happenings. I love how these characters feel like they could live on your street, but also feel like you definitely don't want them living on your street. I do not want the neighbourhood thug and the danger they pose to come knocking on my door the way they do at Gary's. So Mortimer's storytelling is uniquely his own, and the audiobook, narrated by Mortimer himself alongside Sally Phillips, Bob Whitehouse, and Julie Macy, really elevates the experience. And I picked this book up on a whim during my Norwich Bookshop crawl, and that's thanks to my friend Mavis for spotting it. So I'd recommend this for a good laugh. And then for those who believe in the magic of books and their ability to connect people, the Door-to-Door Bookstore is a heartwarming, sentimental read celebrating literature, friendship, and human connection. And I came across this book thanks to Margaret Pennard. I listened to the audiobook that was narrated really well by Raphael Corkill. So Karl Kohlhoff, a solitary bookseller, delivers personally curated recommendations to his customers, people who don't want to leave their homes. He has a quiet and fulfilling ritual, one that is soon disturbed by the new owner of the shop. But a 9-year-old girl who had barged into his life just, a few days before that, could have the uncanny ability to support him in the way that she has supported some of his customers. The book is full of literary references, melancholic reflections, and warm and gentle humor. And Karl's customers were all dealing with their own struggles in ways that are not visible to neighbors or to people that are close to them. It's a quiet meditation on loneliness, purpose, and the small everyday joys that make life meaningful. It does lean heavily into sentimentality, but if you don't mind that, I think that this could be the perfect read for, you know, something comforting and cozy. It certainly was that for me. It came in at the right time. Proof that books and the people who love them can change lives in unexpected ways. So yeah, cozy fiction. That's it for this week. Let me know your thoughts, especially about the Booker Longlist, Kindle Lock-in, and any recent reads that left you reeling. I will say, I'm talking about the humour in this. It is very British, so there's not to say that people who aren't British aren't going to enjoy it. I don't know how to describe what I'm trying to convey. It does have a lot of Britishisms, which is a real plus for me, but it might not be for you. So yeah. Anyway, instead of rambling, I better just say thanks for tuning in and take care.